Today I'm going to be talking about the use of semicolon versus colon, and it seems to be a problem for most college students, including myself. And the biggest problem happens to be when to use a colon or a semicolon in a sentence, or separating two sentences. So when you think about a semicolon, think about it being relaxed because it's half of a colon. It has the point and it also has a relaxed comma. When you think about a colon, think rigid because it's 2 points rather than the relaxed comma. Rigid for the colon means that the colon has more rules and more uses, whereas the semicolon is simpler. For a semicolon, I will use this example sentence. As the leech began to suck, it released several other substances into his ear. A powerful anticoagulant which prevented his blood from clotting, a vasodilator which opened his vessels, helping increase blood flow, and a spreading factor which moved these chemicals quickly into the tissue furthest from the bite, liquefying any hardening blood. Okay, in this we use the semicolon to separate a huge list, and in the list there are also commas. And if there is a complex list with commas, then you also need to use a semicolon to separate. For a colon to be found in here, you see it after the word ear. It is introducing the list. This separates the sentence and makes it a list with a colon and the complex list with the semicolon. To use a semicolon in a sentence, you would use it at the end to introduce an example or an explanation. So if you could take out the punctuation before the second sentence and replace it with, for example, or that is, then you would insert a semicolon. So if you could take, say, this sentence, the movie represented something long forgotten in the audience, period. It represented their youth. To make that a sentence, just one sentence with a colon, you would say the movie represented something long forgotten in the audience, youth. For separating sentences with a semicolon, like I said, it's more relaxed. So all you have to have is two sentences and you combine them into one. They don't have to match equally. It just has to be a complete thought, and it has to have a subject and verb on one side and a subject and verb on the other side. For a colon, it's a little bit more rigid. Think of it like a balance beam. Whatever's on one side of the colon has to equal what's on the other side of the colon. So in this instance, the movie represented something long forgotten, and on the other side of the colon is youth. So the long forgotten something is youth, and therefore it balances out.